Hi, I'm Joli. Welcome to Puerto Morelos, Mexico. I will be taking you through a flexibility and balance class today. We'll be starting out on the floor. You can have a strap and a pillow available, as well as a chair when we come to a standing position. We'll work in a little bit of bar-inspired exercises today, as well as some yoga to challenge our balance and to build strength in our feet and our ankles. So we're going to start out by stretching some of the muscles that we work to balance, as well as working on our strength through our abdominal area, through our core. You will need to have a water bottle and whatever makes you comfortable as you come down to the floor. So a mat, a towel, a blanket, as well as, again, I recommend a strap. You can I grabbed the strap from my bathrobe in my hotel room here, or you can grab an exercise band, whatever works for you, but it really will help you to get a better stretch, especially in the feet and the ankles today. So I'm going to play some music for us as we get started. And again, we'll start out coming down to the floor with our strap. And if you feel like you want a little bit of padding, I do have a little pad here from a chair, but you can grab something else to place behind the shoulders if you find that you just want a little bit of extra support to cushion your hips. Let's roll over and have a lie down on our mat. And again, we'll start out by working the muscles that we use to balance. We want to open those areas up. Taking the strap around the ball of your foot, and your other leg can just stay bent so that you can really focus on what's happening in the leg that you're working. So we're going to press out through our heel, pull back on our toes, and find a nice straight leg that lifts up into the sky. And that might mean that in order for you to access your calf and your foot, you're actually going to take the leg a little further away from your body. That's one of the reasons that we have a strap today. So we're opening up the muscles that help us to balance, that help us to push off of the ground by pushing out through our heel, pushing out through the ball of our foot, and pulling back on our toes. That's going to give you a nice stretch in the part of your leg that would be the lower part of your leg if you were standing right now. Now we're angling into the side of your calf by bringing the toes in towards the center of the body and pushing out through the heel. You should feel this through the outside of your calf. And one nice benefit about the strap is that it really lets us still settle into our supported posture. You can really settle your shoulders back and down into the ground underneath you or into a pillow back there if you've got one. And this gets even better if you can really breathe deeply. We'll switch the strap into the hand on the same side as the leg and push the heel in towards the inside of our body, toes away from the body. Now, if you're feeling pretty bendy and everything feels good, it's okay to straighten your bottom leg, your opposite leg. Maybe bringing the strap in a little closer to the shoulder, but I still want you to feel this in the area that if you were standing would be below your knee. So these are the areas that are going to push off of the floor to help us when we come into balancing positions or when we need to react quickly to something. We're also opening up all of the connections between the bones in our feet. That's going to help us to improve circulation into those areas. Let's bend the knee, take the strap off, and just pull the knee in, give it a little rotation inward and outward. So things should be feeling pretty good, loose, kind of lubricated in through the ankle, the foot, and the calf. Everything that would be below your knee in a standing position. Let's take the other side. So again, we'll start with a bent leg on the leg that you just stretched and bring the strap around the ball of the foot. I'd like you to think about what it takes to activate your foot. So what does it feel like to spread out through the toes and then pull the toes in towards your body as you push out through the heel and out through the ball of your foot? And sometimes it's really strange to come into an actual straight leg. We have to take it further away from our body than we realize. Again, that's one of the reasons the strap is so helpful. And you might find that you can kind of relax a little bit more, push out a little bit more through the heel. Breathe a little more deeply as you start to feel the sensation, as things start to open up. I say that we have a quarter of the joints in our body, in our feet and our ankles. It's amazing. We have that many bones in that area, that many little connections. And so you're giving attention to all of those areas, stretching out the space between your bones. It can make things feel really good. Let's move the toes towards the inside, heel towards the outside, and feel the stretch on the outside of our calf. And if anything ever feels like too much, I want you to feel free to come down, take a little break, take the strap off of your foot, and just come back into wiggling things around. You know, you can always do that. Take a moment. Know that this is a practice that you build over time. If it feels good and you want to straighten the opposite leg, go ahead and do that. And let's angle our toes now towards the outside of our body. Heel towards the inside. And I want you to notice, are you holding your breath? Are you slowing your breath down? We store a lot of tension in our feet and our ankles. Those areas have gotten a lot of work done in our lives. It's natural that as we start to open them up, sometimes we kind of hold our breath. So what happens if you come to the breath first and just back off a little bit from the stretch, coming into a position that is interesting, but you're not grasping for it. All right, let's bend the foot, bend the knee, take the strap off. And again, we'll just take a little rotation in and out. And we're going to start to wake up our core. That's going to be the center of our body, from our hips to our shoulders. Once our feet and our ankles feel good and open, the core is going to help us to hold our bodies strong in our balanced positions. So I'm going to take my pillow out from under my shoulders so that I can push back strongly into the mat. If you're more comfortable with a pillow back there, as long as it's not too high, or a folded blanket, you can keep something back there just to help you to feel relaxed and comfortable. So we're drawing our tummy down like we're trying to press into our low back with our tummy. Let's take a breath in and then exhale and just press that tummy into our spine, and we'll start to lift one foot and then the other. Lift and drop. So we're bringing the knee just above the hip, no closer than the hip. Let's pick it up, tap, tap. I want you to still have that sensation of drawing your tummy right down into your low back. And I'm going to say, ladies especially, this is really good for you, especially if you've had children and your tummy muscles have gone through some stretching, right? This helps you to start to pull everything back into a strong position. It's good for our balance. It's also good for every function of our body. Now, if you're feeling pretty strong, let's start to take those feet a little further away. Do you feel how that gets a little tougher? It's okay to come back where we started and keep the pace slower. I really want you to connect to and focus on what sensation are you feeling. If you're feeling it in your legs or in your hips, try to take the knees a little further away from your body and pull your tummy down a little more firmly. Because even when you're strong, even when you're fit, this is still really good at activating. We're going to give it 8, 7, 6, 5. You've got 4 more. New focus. Let's bring our feet down. And I want you to squeeze your waist in as tightly as you possibly can. This is wrapping the deep abdominal stabilizers of your body around your waist. They will support your low back. Now, as you inhale, can you continue to squeeze? So this seems so simple, doesn't it? It's not. You're working your deep abdominal stabilizers, your deep core muscles. Shoulders are back. Are you squeezing in with your shoulders? Try to push the shoulders back. And think about wrapping your waist. Sometimes we say like it's a corset or a weight belt. I like to think about that. I'm strapping it in tightly so that I can hold myself strong. Now, if you need a break, just relax at any time. Or let's hold it still strongly, pulling in through our waist for 3, 2, and 1. Release everything. So that should feel really strong in your body. I hope you felt that there. Let's bring our knees up. Pull the waist down, and we're extending one leg and coming right back to the knee, switching sides. Now, you've already done the place where this started when you dropped your toes down. So you can come back to that if extending the legs feels like a bit much. But you know where to go if you want to go for that greater challenge. So if you're looking for something in between, where do you go? Let's take the leg higher. Next time, I'm going to take my opposite arm overhead so that I'm engaging from my shoulders to my hips. Again, this is the core of my body. This is a foundation that holds me into a healthy position when I come into balance. Let's give this 4, 3, 2. So simple doesn't mean easy, does it? There's no such thing as easy. Let's bring our knees down and just give it a gentle roll. And feel how strong you are in the center of your body. We're going to roll over and come into all fours. I'll turn towards you. So hands are under the shoulders, knees are under the hips. And again, if you've got that towel or that mat there for a little padding, you are totally welcome to do that. Alternate arm and leg raise. So we're taking right arm forward or left, it doesn't matter, and the opposite leg. And then we reach to the side, come back to center, and lower. Let's switch. You're thinking about being really long here so that your hips drop and your fingers and your toes reach really far away from each other. Return to center. So tummy strong, set tight. Let's lift. You do not have to move on to the angle, do you? You might feel really connected right here, or you might choose to add the angle. Switch sides. Lift. Now sometimes we tend to lift the hip on the leg that is lifted. That's going to take your core out of it. I want you to squeeze through your center and keep the hip low so that you really feel a squeeze between your hips. Switch sides. Let's do one more each way. Maybe you want to try to just add that angle out. Here we go. Big breath in, squeeze the belly. Big breath out. Come back to center and return. Switch, lift, reach to the side. You're gonna feel a squeeze on the side of your hip, and that shoulder and hip are connecting to each other through your back. All right, let's come on down. So releasing that out, I'd like you to press into the ground. Think about lifting your heart towards the front of the room as you engage through your hands, pressing them into the mat. Now exhaling, I want you to just slide those hips back. One more time, we're just gonna lift the chest forward, lift the heart forward, spread the collarbones and the ribs open. Use your inhalation to really spread that out. Now exhaling, we're gonna sit back nice and easy. Let's work our hips Take your pillow or towel if you want a little padding for your knee. It can come right under the knee of the back leg, and we're bringing your opposite leg forward into a lunge, letting the thigh open to the side. Now I've got my arms here with lots of strength for me to push strongly into my arms to support my body weight. As the thigh presses outward, this is going to open the outside of my hips. And then feel what's going on there in the front of your opposite hip. I'd like you to try to give a little squeeze to the muscles right behind the opposite hip. So your back hip, give a little squeeze to the muscles that cover your hip on the back side. You're going to feel that opening. All right, we're going to switch that up. Bring the foot closer to the body. Toes are pointing straight ahead. And as you push the heel down, you're getting a stretch from your calf, through your foot, through your ankle. Again, these are the muscles that will support you when we come into a balancing position today. So balance is a combination of so many types of fitness. It's really complex. Flexibility is a part of it. Let's lift ourselves up and switch sides. In addition to flexibility, we work strength. Let's turn the thigh outward. Press into the outside of your foot and let the thigh rotate so that you're stretching the outside of your hip. So the flexibility portion is going to help us to keep a healthy alignment when we balance. If you think about it, if one area of your body is tight, it's going to kind of pull you out of the position that aligns you, and that's going to be a challenge to your balance. Additionally, your brain will start to recognize things a little bit differently and be able to use your body in a more integrated way when it's not caught in the areas that are tight. So that's why flexibility is going to help you. Let's sit back, step the foot in, let the knee come straight forward, and you're into the calf. And again, we've got this other pillow kind of under the knee just to help us to feel like we don't have to take load into the front of the kneecap, because that's not very comfortable, is it? Now, can you give a little squeeze to the back of your hip? Feeling how that opens the front of your hip. So we've worked our flexibility, we've worked our core strength. Those things are going to help us as we come up and we begin to work balance in different ways. You've got a chair near you or a wall or whatever helps you to stand up. We're going to use that to start to work the strength of our body. Some of this is going to be bar inspired. So using the bar techniques of ballet to make the feet, the hips, and the core stronger. Let's come up and try some of that right now. So we'll take the pillow out of the way. Find yourself in a position with the back of the chair near you. This is also a really good time to take a little drink of water. Notice how you're feeling as you come up. We're starting with first position. Heels together, thighs turn out, toes are pointing out away from the hips, and we'll come down just with a little drop and lift. My heels are staying on the ground. My tummy is strong. So that same feeling of a strong tummy that you used on the ground today. You want to carry that forward into your standing position. Now, if things feel good, I let my heels lift as I drop my hips so that I can come into a deeper position. This is excellent for increasing the mobility of your hips, also for improving the strength of your arches, your feet, and your ankles. And then let's think about our posture, because that's also going to connect us. Again, hips to shoulders in our core. So shoulders are back, chest is lifted without flaring the ribs. Next time, I'm going to give you an option. So we lift up all the way into a releve. So your heels are lifting from the ground as you press into the balls of the feet. Let me show you an option. Just a little lift, just strengthening the feet. You do not have to lift the heels in your plie. You can stay with what's called a demi-plie. It's just a small plie, working the strength of your thighs, your hips, and your feet. Or maybe you let those heels lift as your knees start to feel warm. I want you to just notice. What do you feel ready for? If your hands want to come off the bar, we've got a first position. And again, option to add the releve, lifting. So releve starts with just a little pressure into the ball of your foot. Maybe that's all that you shift. When you do that, your heels are naturally going to lift a little bit in your standing position. Or maybe you come to a full releve. Dropping down into grand plie, lifting to full releve. Arms are coming up overhead if that feels good for your shoulders today. But you can get a lot of benefit from just staying and working in awareness of what's happening in your feet and the center of your body, your core, right? Can you feel that? So I'm just gonna come a little closer to the camera and demo for you. So again, my thighs are pressing out from my hips. This is my demi-plie, my grand plie. I let my heels lift, but only in order to let my hips and my knees come down, right? So the heels lift really just by association of the movement. And then let me show you the progression. I lift a little, or I lift all the way, stretching up. And again, you are strengthening feet, calves, and ankles, all of the muscles that you just stretched, right? So you should feel warm and connected to the ground and still really connected into your core. See where my hand is, right there on my belly. I'm engaging through that. Now let me show you from the side. Hips are going to very slightly squeeze under the belly, squeeze under the body. So it's not a tuck, it's natural, but it's really, really strong in your low tummy. Come with me one more time. We're going to shift the way that we practice our balance and come into something a little bit more still, a little bit more yoga inspired. Take a break. I know that can be really intense on the knees and the thighs. Give yourself a moment. Take a drink if you like. And remember that the chair or the bar is your friend. We'll start with something that's probably familiar, shifting into tree pose. Your standing leg is going to be really strong on the ground. And I want you to just start to lift up through the right leg. Hand can be right there on the chair. And it might even be that you keep a toe on the ground, but you feel a shift into your standing leg and then connect into all of the core stuff that we just talked about. So let's just try the other side. Again, the chair is your friend, but you don't have to use it. You can progress off, you can take little breaks off of the chair. Spread the toes out on your standing leg. Feel the ball and the heel of your standing leg. Lift off. Squeeze the standing leg so much that it starts to draw up into your center. All right, so that's the start of your balance. Maybe we're ready to take it higher, or maybe we go back where we've been. Grounding into the standing leg, let's lift. Take it a little higher. What does it feel like to push the standing leg into the foot that lifts into your thigh or into your calf? Do you feel how you engage from the ground into your hips, into your belly? Lift up through the chest. Now, if you want to add that, get your yoga center on. Some of you might even like to go overhead. All right, now here's the next level challenge. What is it like to close your eyes just for a moment? Do you feel how much the visual connection is a part of your balance? It's amazing, isn't it? Your brain gets smarter. It feels where it is. Let's take it down and try the opposite side. Step down. Starting low. Now there's a tendency sometimes for that hip to kind of swing to the side. I want you to pull the hip up. Start to lift. Bring the foot in. Lift higher. Squeeze up. Now push the standing leg right back into the foot. If you choose to, you can bring those hands to your heart. Start to get that full sensation of yoga. Again, reconnecting into your center, into your core, those areas that we worked. Never let that go during class today. Big reach up if you're choosing to go there. And you're pressing the thigh into the opposite foot. Feeling how much of your strength is connected into your standing leg. All right, so we're going to move a little bit forward and back. Let's see what's there. Switching sides. Again, our balance is going to start with what's connecting into the ground. Let's bring a knee forward. And then just lift the heel as you touch the toes down lightly. Now there's a tendency to kind of fall forward into that foot, isn't there? Can you lift into your belly? Feel the front and the back of the grounded standing leg, and then just start to lift the leg a little higher. Again, that chair is right there anytime that you need it for balance. Let's try to add a little direction. Take a little tip forward. Know that it's okay. This toe is your kickstand. You can touch it down anytime. Maybe you'd kick forward a little bit more, stretching your toes back. If you're feeling it, go ahead and add those airplane arms. And I know some of you are okay with going overhead, so let's take that there and see what that feels like. This really challenges the center of your body. This really challenges the core, doesn't it? Can you squeeze in? Remember that engagement of your waist as we squeezed our waist to make it smaller at the beginning of class. You're doing that now. All right, we're going to step in. Breath. Let's try the other side. Leg draws up into the body. Toes get a little lighter. And then we feel that wobble, maybe forward or back. I want you to lift up and away from that wobble and see if you can't lift the knee a little higher. Feel both the inside and the outside of your standing foot. Let's take a little tilt in. Know that it's okay to touch your toes down as a kickstand. And maybe a big reach. Kick back. Reach forward. Can you drop the lifted hip? Spread out your airplane arms. Wrap your waist in tightly. I know it's challenging. It's quiet work. Dancers make it look easy, don't they? And you can feel now how much of your brain impacts your balance. Let's release, step down, and we're coming back to our mat. Option to stay with the bar, taking the feet a little wider, turning our thighs out. So this is going to work both our strength and our flexibility. In our second position, lower down with me. Push into your heels and rise up. You're feeling powerful legs, grounding into the earth. And a strong core that supports your shoulders over your hips. Come down to the bottom. Let's pulse a little. And you can feel how your weight wants to shift a little from side to side, and how you're building strength in your legs. If this all feels good, let's bring a hand to the hip, give a little squeeze over. Feeling a stretch and an opening through the side of our waist as we continue to build strength in our legs that support us in our balance. Switching sides, you can choose to keep the hands in second position. Pressing super strongly into the heels. Know that it's okay to come up and take a little break anytime you need, right? I want you to work right on the edge of grabbing for it. I want you to work where things are interesting. I tell my students all the time that yoga is between laziness and grasping. Where is the place where you are working with interest? It's kind of like kids playing. How you get smarter, how you get stronger. And release. Let's lower the bottom down. And now finally lift up. A little more strength for the back of our body. Let's step our legs in. Come back to the bar, to the chair. Heels are out. Now we're going to lift our toes back behind us, feeling a squeeze behind the hip and an opening in the front of the hip to strengthen the muscles that support us in balancing. Now can you squeeze the thigh back and feel how that stretches and opens the front of the hip? And this is going to connect into the core that you worked early in the class. Shoulders are back. Let's add some arms if you're feeling it. And if you're really feeling graceful today, you can even go for those strong arms. Big reach behind your body. Now let's lift ourselves down. Other side. So we stand tall in our first position. Squeeze the muscles behind our hip as we extend the leg back. Lift and lower. And the lift really happens by, again, squeezing from your calves to your glutes. It's going to be behind your hips. All of the muscles of the back of your body. Now we can add a pulse. Maybe arms for balance. And there's a little tendency, right, to let our tummy go. Can we pull that right back in? If you want to get pretty with the arms, shoulders are back, connecting to the hips, just like they did very early in class when you were on the floor. And now maybe you reach back. Oh, you've done such good work. We're there, we're there. Come on down. Find first position, places you've been before. Thighs press open, shoulders back, tummy strong. Easy demi-plie, heels on the ground. And we're just gonna start to come into a little standing stretch to finish our class today and lead us forward into where you go from here, taking your balance and your flexibility into your daily activities. So if you want to come down a little deeper and then lift, I want you to push your heels into the ground as you rise. If you've taken that grand plie. Now push the heels down as you lift up. Good, one more time. Now let's lift to the top, squeeze to lift. One more moment to balance, lifting the heels, lifting in through the center, maybe choosing to take a hand off of the chair. And let's release, come down. I'm going to give us just a little stretch for our hamstring. Bring a foot forward, hand on the chair. Keep your chest lifted, and I want you to just hinge forward from your hips. Breathing in deeply, feel how your chest lifts naturally and your spine extends a little bit longer. So you move forward with the straight leg. Good, and then let's just give our hips a little break. You can take a leg up to the thigh. Let the hip extend open. We'll switch sides. Again, we hinge forward. As we breathe in, the spine's going to lengthen up. This is a really great time to connect one more time to what's happening in your core. Remember, those are the areas between your hips and your shoulders. So core is not just your belly. It's not just your abdominals. It is the center of your body. You think about where your spine is. Everything that wraps around your spine, everything that connects into and stabilizes your spine, that's your core. And your spine goes all the way down to your tailbone and all the way up to the back of your skull. Let's lift up. You can press the heel open and the thigh outward, sitting the hips down. And we'll take just a little stretch for the calves, bringing a foot back, straight back behind the body, pressing it into the ground. Those calves have done amazing work in your releves and your pliés. And switch. So I hope that you have enjoyed this balance class as much as I've enjoyed teaching it. I hope that we will get to practice together soon and that you enjoyed the beautiful view behind me of Puerto Morelos, Mexico. Again, my name is Joli. Go ahead and open your heart. Lift your shoulders back. Squeeze through the back side of your body to open the hips and engage your belly. And you're going to take that posture forward right into the rest of your week. Have a wonderful day.